Hopefully.
Last but not least, in the AFC South is the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had the first overall pick, highlighted by Trayvon Walker, Devin Lloyd, and I put Chad Muma on here just for you gentlemen because we had a big debate, a big conversation about Chad Muma. It's where I learned that I am just going to keep my mouth shut for Jacksonville Jaguars talk, and I'm going to let you guys roll into it.
wait. There's no way.
I'm kidding. But I will be choosing my words very wisely tonight when talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars to make sure that I don't get called too emotional or what other nonsense you guys have called me for being a Jags fan. I will.
Now he understands what describing words are, not nicknames. Good.
Yeah, I'm just backing off here. So we'll start off with you, AJ. What were your overall thoughts of this Jacksonville Jaguars draft?
Good start. You guys took a good flyer, I guess is the best way to say it. I mean, he's got the upside. Trayvon Walker is athletic. He wasn't the guys everyone thought would go first, but I really like the pick, and I think he can do some things that Aiden Hutchinson can't. Solid follow-up with Devin Lloyd. If this was your draft last year, you put Trevor Lawrence and then Devin Lloyd, you guys are just shooting for the stars, I really like their first 4 picks all the way down to Chad Muma. I don't know what the hell y'all were doing in round 5. Did the loss of Dara Agumbawale really hurt that much that you had to go out and get a running back in round 5? And if you were going to do it, you went with Snoop Connor. I'm hoping you can explain this to me because Snoop Connor is not a guy that excites me in any way, shape, or form. This may be the gem that you were talking about you can find in the later rounds. We're talking about a guy that never had a 1,000-yard season. If I'm not mistaken, his highest yard season was 670 yards. Now, granted, he was able to get to the touchdown like 13 times that season, but it still leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, with the power that you're going to get from whose name James Robinson, from the quickness, the shiftiness, the breakaway speed you're going to get from Travis Etienne, from the power and the goal line guy of Raquel Armstead, I don't know where Snoop Connor fits in. I feel like there, again, were so many other places you can go. We talked about how much y'all really needed to go with the offensive line, and you got a center in Luke Fortner, but again, Cade Mays was still there at a tackle. Jamari Slayer was still there at a guard. Those are 2 big-name guys that you can get. And if you really, really wanted a running back, my guy Jerome Ford from Cincinnati went 2 picks later, and he damn near had more yards last season than Snoop Connor had in his entire career. So it just was a baffling pick for me. I hope it works out for you. I kind of, sort of, truly do. The Florida in me truly does, but that pick kind of baffled me. Everything before that, way to go, guys. I'm proud of you.
I can't believe we spent that much time on Snoop Connor.
His name's Snoop.
I mean, yeah. Look, this draft was really about 2 players. It was about Trayvon Walker, the first overall pick, who I'm tired of people. Like, even the reluctancy of AJ, like they're coming out with, a good flyer or whatever. Like, why are we justifying the first overall pick? This dude is a physical specimen, and all we can focus on is the level of production at Georgia. When is somebody going to go down and actually break down Georgia tape and realize that they don't have high-level production players on that defensive line? That includes a Devontae Wyatt. That includes a Jordan Davis. That includes a Nakobe Dean, who was a linebacker. It's just the way their defensive scheme is. It's as simple as that. They stop the run. That is what they are geared to do. Trayvon Walker had a job to do, and he did it. So what if he didn't have sacks? We just paid a guy in Denver, Randy Gregory, who only had 6 sacks last year, $80 million. They paid him as a cornerstone edge rusher because of his physical attributes and the way he can win at the line of scrimmage. So I'm tired of people talking about the production. The fact of the matter is I thought Jacksonville had one of the best drafts. You go and you get a guy like Trayvon Walker. You get Devin Lloyd, who's probably the best linebacker in the draft, being able to slot into where Miles Jack was at. You get a center who comes in right away and is going to be a day 1 starter on an offensive line that is now looking a little bit better. You get Cam Robinson tagged. You get, a Luke Fortner, a Brandon Scherf. You have a Jawan Taylor that's still there. I don't know who the other guard is. Maybe Ben Barch or somebody's probably starting there. But now you're adding pieces to protect Trevor Lawrence. You add a Chad Muma on the linebacking core with a Devin Lloyd, who is a tackling machine. This guy had 142 tackles last year, and that's all he does is make plays. He's not the fastest, but he can cover space really well. He can play in short areas. He's explosive. He's an elite tackler. In the NFL, if you haven't watched lately, tackling is a lost art. People don't do it anymore. You can put him on the defensive line and have him, or play really tight to the defensive line and have him kind of stop that edge. This is a player that is going to be a factor on your defense, and you add him next to one of the best linebacker earlier in the rounds. I think this is a team that is primed to take the next step. I told you I liked what they did in the offseason. You can look at the rounds 5, 6, and 7. I don't even care about those rounds. They addressed some DBs. Maybe they'll hit there, maybe they won't, but it doesn't really matter. What they've done this offseason and the fact that they put the draft, had the number 1 pick again, and I think hit again is a big, big move for them. And they moved up. Remember, they moved up to come back and get Devin Lloyd, knowing that that was a void they needed to fill. Jacksonville fans, Vinny, Dylan, all you Jags fans, a rebuild takes time. It's not always pretty. Sometimes you need to have the first pick for a couple of years. Jacksonville is making the right strides. They got rid of the headache in Urban Meyer. They have now a Super Bowl winning coach. Hopefully that organization stands behind him and allows him to do it his way, and they take steps in the right direction. I really like what Jacksonville's done. They are the winner, to me, of this division's draft. Even though I grade Houston's better, I think Jacksonville is the winner because I think Trevor Lawrence is already the guy that's going to be their future versus Davis Mills. You're not sure yet. And I think they put enough around him to take that next step.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to embrace it, but they are.
No.
They are, man.
No. I will. I think similar to your reaction to the Tyler Smith pick on night 1 for your Dallas Cowboys was a similar reaction to me watching the Jaguars select Chad Muma. Although I, of course, still wish that it was Nakobe Dean. But obviously, we don't know how these two are going to pan out. But as I dove in and look and watch what Chad Muma can do, you bring up his tackling abilities. If you're a Jags fan, how many times did you watch last year so many missed tackles? Not just like we can just say Derrick Henry is still there in the AFC South and you needed someone to lock him up. That's going to be hard to do. But it's not just Derrick Henry that the Jaguars can't tackle. It's just about every single person once you get past that D-line. The linebackers have had such a hard time tackling. There's no like fancy stats to look into for that. Although I'm sure the Jacksonville Jaguars are at the bottom of the top of the league in terms of missed tackles. But I do love the fact that they went out and got a Chad Muma who, I mean, it's a need. The best pick though, I think, and it might not be the grade that I gave. I was tempted to give the Luke Fortner pick an A+ or an A. I still like that Lindstrom kid out of Boston College, but you bring in a center here. No one's talking about the fact that the Jaguars lost Brandon Linder this past offseason. And I know Luke Fortner might not come in and be that instant impact, that day one starter at center for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but he's a person that can develop into your starter at center. And for the time being, you can play him at guard instead of a Ben Barch or whoever you throw out in there at the guard position. He's a mauler. He's got a mean streak. He does what he needs to do. He's a solid offensive lineman who you're going to now be able to bring in and help protect your star franchise quarterback. I'm all aboard for this top half of the draft. I don't get the Snoop pick. I mean, the Jaguars have two injury. I don't want to say they're injury prone. That's not fair. But you have two running backs who are coming off of a very severe, serious injury that could keep them on the sideline for more time than we want. So bring in a Snoop. If you could end up having Travis Etienne and James Robinson both sidelined because of a nagging ankle or foot injury. So you don't want your number one running back to be Rock Armstead. Okay. So that's that.
Well, no, I actually like the running back selection itself. You need depth at that position, and it's not heavily invested in. So Raquel Armstead wasn't even close. I mean, there was a chance he wasn't even going to play football again a few years ago. So when COVID started and all that stuff, he caught COVID, and it took him a long time to get back. But yeah, I mean, Snoop Conner is what it is. He didn't get a ton of work at Ole Miss, so that's part of the problem, right? You're only getting 100 carries a year. He averaged 5 yards a carry. He was solid, but we don't know a lot about him. Yep.
Let's take a look at the overall results of our draft grades. The GPAs for these teams looks like this. The Tennessee Titans with the lowest at 2.79, which is still not, that is still passing. That is still a passing GPA. That I would know because it's pretty damn close to what I got at Full Sail to graduate. Then the Colts at 3.17. Then you got the Texans at 3.65. And the Jacksonville Jaguars at 3.35. I mean, that Texans grade, very, very high. Might be the highest.
It speaks to the depth. It speaks to the depth. I believe their first 5 or 6 picks, we all had high A's all the way to high B's as far as their grades. So they had a really, really deep draft. Really impressed with what they did. But like I said, to me, the winner of the division was still Jacksonville. I believe I had them pretty close side by side, but to me, Jacksonville, the top end of the draft, just was super impressive to me. And you know how I'm a big fan of Trayvon Walker, and I think he's going to be a game changer on that defensive side of the football for them.
I think that, so I'm looking back at the statistics here, and based on our GPAs, the Houston Texans are the highest graded team in our draft at that 3.65. They just edged out the Seattle Seahawks, who are at 3.52. So that is the highest grade that we have given out. That's also including the teams that are to be released on YouTube tomorrow, which you guys will have to be locked in the Sack City Pod on YouTube.